Our, okay, guys. Hi, this is Atul. This is today's 12th of December 2024. Today we are going to talk about is mastering AI, data, DevOps, and multi-cloud. How to build this in-demand skill and land a high-paying job. So one second, and even as a beginner, if you have no experience and no coding experience as well, the sessions are going to be very, very interactive. You guys are all live, but in case if you're watching this as a replay, make sure that whatever I'm going to discuss, I'm going to make sure you stay interactive. I'll give you an opportunity to where to ask the question, because even after the class, if you have any questions, post there. That's when I'm going to be picking up questions. Me and my team will be answering the question as well. So without stopping, I have a hard limit. Probably will try to keep it to approximately 90 minutes, will less or more. If we have more questions, we are going to be asking questions, but I'm going to be I want to make this session interactive. So let me know what made you to come into the class, what exactly you were looking for, so I can tell, or whatever question comes to mind, please put in the chat window so I can see your question. I'm going to read it. I'm going to be making it a little bit more interactive and more fun. Initially, I was thinking of doing only the cloud or multi-cloud, but then I've added data, DevOps data. I was asking a lot of questions. And you guys gave me this question as well. So let me know in the chat window what brought you here, what one thing you wanted to ask and interact. And by the way, happy holiday seasons if you're enjoying or planning to stay. But put in the chat window and let me know. A lot of you guys are here. So let me see my Abdul, Adik, uh, Eddie, Amir, Anthony, Ashwin, Basil, Clifton, Deepak, Atrendo, Gurpreet, Jaya, John, Jyotsna, Karen. A lot of guys are here. Just let me know and say, uh, good question. So let me pick up. Sudarshan is saying, because of AI, how we use multi-cloud and DevOps. Brilliant. We're going to cover that as well. Hi. Put in the chat window what one question you want, because what you came here, I want you to say, make this session interactive, and let me know the question so that we can cover those questions and more questions come. So with that, let's begin with, I think, on top of our, let's begin with what we're going to do and look at, as I said, for those who've just joining, mastering AI, data, DevOps, and multi-cloud, how to build this in-demand skill and land a high-paying job. As I said, keep posting the question that you have. Also, as I said, after this class, I'm going to pick up these questions. This is a free community, so if you're watching this live, maybe you can ask in our Zoom call itself. But post the question into kitnacademy.com/241212, which is YYMMDD, and so that you can I can follow up the question. This is a free community. If you're not yet part of, join this community. There'll be wait like someone will approve you, and then you can post. Go to this URL again. You can post the question as well. Now, if you've not, as I said, tell me which part of the country you are or which country you're from, so that I can see where you guys are coming. I'm based in London. It's a little bit gloomy right now here. It's dull. 3:30, 3:34. So I just need to know which. So put in the chat window and let me know where is everyone from. Um, Ashwin is saying, from where I need to start as a beginner. I'm going to cover that. So are you beginner in IT? Are you beginner in tell me a little bit more about you as a beginner where as well. So Sebastian is from Canada, USA, Sean, non-IT, Canada, Chicago. A lot of guys, Canada, India, Canada, non-IT. Okay, US, USA. A lot of guys are from USA. Nice, brilliant guys. San Francisco, anyone from UK, guys. India, Naga is saying India. No one is from UK. Okay, no worries. India, okay. A lot of guys from USA and India, Canada, one or two. I'm a little bit surprised. I was hoping my gang is here, but no one from UK. No worries. Let's continue. Romania. Okay, brilliant. Let's continue here, guys. Thank you very much. And again, if you're coming, if not introduced, go and introduce yourself as well. As I said, we're going to cover uh, everything right from the basic cloud. I'm going to tell you why we are going to go in this way. Underlying infrastructure cloud, because everything, think of it as like you have, am I going, if I go fast, let me know, because I have a habit of speaking very fast. So put in the chat window and someone in my team will interrupt and slow me down as well. So think of, you have a rocket that needs to be, so AI and machine learning is kind of a rocket that everyone is moving towards, going towards. And when I say AI, I mean, when I say AI, I mean AI, machine learning, generative AI. And for those of you who are new, not sure what it means, I'll explain you. That AI or machine learning depends on data because everything is driven by data and what we're going to look at from a data point of view. And the data, both AI and machine learning needs some infrastructure, which means it needs compute and storage that's done by data that or cloud. And that's why we're going to look at why cloud and why multi-cloud and so on. On right hand side, you see everything about operations. How do you build, manage, develop, build, manage, and operate? You might have heard of DevOps if you're from IT. If you're not, that's don't worry, we'll explain you DevOps. And I'll be asking if there is anyone who doesn't know those topics, make this session interactive so that based on the questions, I'm going to go deeper or keep it surface level as well. Then we'll also look at AI ops, which is a AI operations, and ML ops, which is machine learning operations, end-to-end operations with some tools as well. Anything that you see is not sure what it means, just put in the chat window with that name. So I'll cover that. So for example, if you're not sure what is SageMaker or Vertex AI or why I'm this or that, post the question because that's when I'm going to do. I'm going to have my own agenda, but then I can take questions based on the comments I see or the questions I see as well. Now, what we are going to learn? We are going to learn today is why you must learn AI, data, DevOps, MLOps, multi-cloud, and why in specific now, how to prepare for 2025 as well. What the big changes are coming in job? There's a big shift are happening. If you see, and as they say, if you, it's not the AI that will replace you, it's someone with the knowledge of AI and not just AI. If you want to stay ahead in the game, you have to do the data, you have to do the underlying infrastructure, which is cloud, and you have to do the ML ops and all those things. So how do you prepare for that? We'll also look at how to find the job opportunities, but not any job opportunity, but job opportunity they pay is good and they're easy to get interview calls and easy to clear them, what kind of those jobs are and how to search and apply for those jobs. Also what kind of a salary you can expect and how to get those high paying salaries as well, because that's my dream. That's what I've always done and I've successfully done, but some ups and downs happen. I'll cover that as well. We'll also look at some of the certifications. I'll give you the list of top certifications. You don't need to do all of them, just one or two are enough, but you can look at from a certification from an AI, data, DevOps, and cloud point of view. I'll also keep repeating the 12 myths. And every time I hear more and more uh, things come out, which is keeping you stuck, or most of the time it's mindset. We don't realize the mindset, our mind is speaking. So 12 myths or blockers that keeping you stuck and stopping and costing you high paying job, not getting interview calls and so on, and how to avoid them. If you have, I just want you to tell me if you have anything like that, which is whatever is happening, don't be shy because I've had a lot of challenges in my life, and some of them I'm going to share today here. So be open and be transparent so that I can help you or someone can help you if I don't have the answer as well. I'll also talk about three-step framework. We've changed completely, and 2025 you'll see big changes. If you've been following me or know me, then three-step framework that helped me going earning less than $100 a month to then now earning in excess of £1,000 a day here in UK. And not just me, but 44,000 plus individuals like you in order to get a high paying job. We'll talk about those as well. I'll also, uh, for a select handful, I will be talking about a new mastermind we have started. This is the first time announcing today, 12th of December. We are not open it yet. We are going to be a wait list and are going to be handpick 5 guys to be working very closely with me, one-on-one, only 5 seats, but it's not for everyone. I just wanted to highlight. We're going to, there's an application process which talk about towards end, how to be working very closely in a complete new way manner in 2025 with me. So that, so that you get high paying job, and high paying I mean is extra 50,000. If you're already earning minimum, talking about extra $50,000, I'm talking about, or pounds, euros, or whatever currency you're from, even as a beginner with no coding or programming knowledge. There are some criteria, there is some prerequisite for that. We'll talk about that as well. Apart from that, if you have any other question, do let me know so that I can cover that as well. Otherwise, I'll keep going. If you have any, apart from these topics, if you have any other question, let me know. If you're not introduced, go and tell me where I'm from. Jafar from Pakistan, Surabhi from India, Afo. I have it Surabhi as well for my team as well. A lot of guys now, I'm from UK. Great, Amir. Which part of UK you are? Would love to connect as well later, okay? So this is what we're going to cover, guys. This is what topic is. And as I said, I always make a promise by end of this session, you will have a full clarity. If not, hold me accountable and unmute. We'll talk about towards end. My promise is by end of this class, you'll have full clarity on how to get certified and high paying job in AI, data, DevOps, multi-cloud, and also even as a beginner with no experience. A lot of guys and come and say, hey, I don't have any experience. Companies are looking for experience. How can I write that experience? Because when I go for job, they say 5 years experience, 4 years experience, or 10 years experience. I don't have any experience. How do I do learn that as well? So we'll talk all of them. And if you have any questions, as I said, keep asking, repeating. People are shy. People don't want to show off the weaknesses. Trust me, the way to make success or result is open up and tell where the problem is, write it down, and then start working towards. That's what I'm going to cover today as well. Oh, yeah. As I said, this program, this today's class is absolutely free, but this is something, as I said, in 2024, I'll be starting this, which is a job accelerator. If you're stuck, or if you're already earning good and you want to take the next level, there are guys whom we have helped 200,000, $300,000. If you want to go access to that, or if you're stuck at a mid-level career, or if you're just starting out and want one-on-one support. This is a job accelerator program we'll talk about a little bit towards end. Three-phase approach, which I say, which is going to be very, very interesting, which I'll talk about a little bit later that you see. I'll also be talking about this within that part. There's a three-step framework within this getting a job, and how to get a three-step framework to get a high-paying job. Just copy paste. I'll give you this whole path, and you can copy paste and implement yourself to earn a lot more higher. Or if you need help, we'll talk about how to book a call, a qualification call or a discovery call to see whether you're right fit for the program or not. Now, everything I'm going to talk about, this frameworks have been tried and tested for someone like Kennedy. As I said, smash a final interview offer here in the UK as a senior technical advisor positions as well. Or someone like SJ from US, not only she doubled her salary from earning 85, I think 85,000 to $175,000 in US, but also for her husband as well. So these are tried and tested things that you'll be seeing, and as long as you implement, the question is about implementation. Question is about acting on those. As long as you act on those, you'll get a result for sure about. Another one like Shovik, we'll talk about these a little bit later towards end on a senior leadership role on as a senior enterprise architect as a Bank of America. So these are tried and tested things. You need to believe in yourself and believe what I'm going to give you so that you can act on those. There'll be some supporting documents, some supporting videos inside the portal, which I mentioned. Make sure you do that as well. So as I said at the start, there are only the if you want to work one-on-one with me in 2025, then there's an application. We'll talk about that in a job accelerator mentorship and coaching program, 5 seats, because I only take a handful. I'm super duper busy, but then I want to make sure that the guys who are earning already getting results in the existing programs, but how you will take it to the next level, working very closely with me. We'll talk about that as well. So I'll give an application form towards end. As I said, it's only by application, and then fill that form. We'll be talking about that form a little bit later towards end, only for the handful of you guys that we talk about. So, and with that, I'm going to give you a personalized roadmap. This personalized roadmap is for those who are part of that, but we'll give you and tell you how we do it. You can run it, that personalized roadmap as well. With that, let's see why you should be listening. And thanks for those who have introduced yourself. If not, go and introduce where are you from. A lot of guys from US, UK, Canada, Australia, India. But let me show, and for those, how many are coming here first time? Say F for first time or R for repeat, so that I know you've heard me, or depending on, I'll go deeper, or type F for first time and R for FF. Okay, wow, lot of first time. Wow, Mohammed, Amir, Sayed, Pravinder. Okay, there's one or two, otherwise a lot of F. So I'll go quickly. I'll not go deeper, but I'll go and keep, because I wanted to focus on you. But I'll tell you what it's important to know who you're listening, or why you should be listening as well. So this is me. More than 2.5 decades of IT experience in total. Last more than a decade now in cloud and multi-cloud. But what I'm biggest proud of is I've helped 44,000 individuals like you to learn cloud, DevOps. I've been teaching and training these on since 2007, 8, but in IT for 2000. I started my first few years were very, very tough, earning less than $100 a month. To then my first break came in joining Oracle as a database administrator. From there, I moved to 2004 in UK, working with Imperial College, earning £2,400 a month. To then my first break came in end of 2005. I'll tell the story in the end. 2005, after 10 months of big struggle, earning £425 a day. There was no looking back since then. But then I second, and life never gives ups and ups. It sounds like ups and ups every time here. But the first stuff was in 2009, writing my first book, which is on security, identity and access management. That was I didn't realize that writing a book will be that much difficult. But then 2012, I again second bottom, which I'll tell a little bit later. But then I've earned moved from cloud DevOps to multi-cloud to data architect, and then last 3-4 years have been AI, machine learning, AI, and last I've been in generative AI as well. These are some of the clients I've worked across the globe, right from a Royal Bank of Scotland to WorldPay to a Tradius in Netherlands, a Scottish Government in Scotland, Pepperdine in US, Tucson Electric Power in US, Imperial College in London, where I first, and then to Hexaware, to as far as Bank of Somalia remotely, Saudi Railways. We did some project work, Switzerland as well. And the reason I'm telling you is that I never ever thought that I'll be in a position where I'm today. And I'll tell you, if you're in a situation like where you are struggling, you're stuck, or not growing, or have ups and downs, or maybe not a good phase. I was once earning less than $100 a month. So if you are at a position, don't worry. As long as you stay, keep learning and keep doing, you'll go do good. I've done myself earning. This is my second salary slip, earning less than $100, and was there for almost 4 or 5 years. And then, as I said, earning going to £425 a day to 5, 7, 800, 900. This was last salary slip. I'm currently in an NDA. I can't share the details, but in excess of £1,000 a day. And you will earn as well, and as long as you follow the path as well, which I'm going to talk about as well. But as I said, it was not rosy. It looks like up, but there were a lot of downs in the middle. First was done was here. Second big hurdle was 2012, which I'm going to talk later, not right now. 2012 was a big, I was a little bit arrogant here, thinking I know everything, to a big down on 2012, which I'll talk about later, not right now as well. But what has achieved or helped me is achieving is I always dreamt of uh, living my life on my own terms and conditions, and this is what I craved for. And luckily, since 2019 or 2018-19, I've been living that life of 4Ws: where to work from, when to work, what to work on, and who to work with. I decide now of multiple clients, and I want to give you that same flexibility on those working on 4Ws. I have, as I said, and that started when my daughter was born. She's now grown up. She's 16, 17 now. And this is what I started with. I needed these 4Ws because I wanted to be with her. And I'm in a position right now to spend a lot of time with my friend, my family. Every month or so, I go and take a couple of days off. Every quarter, I take full week off. Every year, I take 2 or 3 big holidays, and you can achieve as well. That's what I'm going to show. It's possible with if especially if you're in IT, it's totally possible and doable as well. So, and as I said, this what I'm going to talk about today is not just work for me, but the methods that I'm going to discuss have been working for almost every job that I'm going to see here. And we'll see tons and tons of jobs in a minute here. And also, not just in UK, but I'm talking about is across the globe, whether in US or Europe or Middle East or India or Singapore, wherever you are, the framework is going to work exactly the way that worked for me and hundreds and thousands of others as well. As I said, not one, two, three, but hundreds and hundreds and thousands. These are the screenshots being taken a couple of years back. Still keep adding more and more with their LinkedIn profile. So, and this is a screenshot from the portal, not one. 2019 we started counting, and 2020, this is December 2023. So it's still outdated, and it's growing aggressively as well. It's all because uh, word of mouth, and you'll see today that as well. So with that, let's begin with, and my only humble request is please ask question. If you're watching that later, still go through the portal or ask wherever you're watching that. There'll be comment section. If not, go to this URL, ketonacademy.com. 24/12/12, which is 12th of December 2024, YYMMDD. Post questions so that I can answer, because my is you should be able to ask questions. This is the live session. That's why you should be. So make sure, just promise me saying that you'll be asking question as well. So yeah. So just type and say promise and say type P to promise that you'll be asking question. I'm going to make questions interactive and still with me. Amir is saying, would you be able to share the recording? Yes, I'll be sharing the recording, Amir. I think we might be, I'll keep an eye on email. That's where we're going to do. Thank you very much for everyone on stage attentive. As I said, we're going to make this session interactive. So guys, keep asking questions. Okay, with that, let's begin with first, anything and everything that you do, always ask why I'm doing, and always keep end in the mind. And for me, end in the mind is that to get a high paying job. If I'm already working, how can I do? One of the core principle we have is 1% improvement every day. So I'm on whatever rate I am on the next 3 to 6 months, I should be increasing my salary. How do I do that? So the ultimate game aim for the learning is, am I going to get a good paying job? And that too, also that's future. That's not just now, but 5, 10 years grow, and from a growth perspective point of view as well. So why you should be learning is, if you look at, as I said, start, everyone is implementing AI. And when I say AI, I mean not just artificial intelligence, I mean machine learning, generative AI, everything revolving around AI. So AI is the future, and within AI, you have, and I tend to go with cloud. Will explain you the reason why, just not plain AI, but AI with cloud providers like Microsoft Azure, which is you'll see. Then we'll cover that in a minute. But AI. Now, within AI, if you see why to learn AI or machine learning or generative AI, it's 1.3 trillion market share, and it's going to grow exponentially now. This, if you look, this is only just till 2032. Everybody you already know. I don't need to tell with ChatGPT. Every company is implementing in their solution AI. They've already started. Most of things are already there in the market as well. As I said, when I say AI, just to give you a glimpse of AI, been industry for almost now 30, 40 years now. People don't realize, but or some of you guys already know, but if not, it's been now quite some time now. Machine learning, which is a subset of AI, been also for quite some time now. Same is deep learning, been almost now 10, 20 years. Deep learning, where you see facial recognition, a number plate recognition, a lot of advanced recognitions through deep learning, already there through neural networks as well. What revolutionized was when ChatGPT came was generative AI, which is nothing but using now the machine learning models, you can generate something. And what I mean by generate is generate maybe text, maybe essays, maybe the videos, maybe images, maybe story, maybe the code, anything. In fact, I was looking at from an Anthropic, one of the providers of machine learning model. You can even tell an instruction through an agent and say, do my work. It'll do that work for you. It'll see, wait, and enhance it as well. So generative AI is something that generate something, which could be code, which is good, as I said, is. Does it make sense? Put in the chat window, type yes if it makes sense on a very high level. And we're going to keep it high level, but if you, I'm happy to go deeper. Just type yes if you say yes. Only one yes. Is it make sense? And any question so far you have for? Great, great. Okay, so let's move on now there. So if you look at when you're searching for AI, machine learning, or generative AI search or job, you go to the job portal and search for, just type, simple thing is just type word AI, and you'll see tons and tons of jobs. And this is what I've done from one of the job portal here in UK, quite famous. If you're not following, those of you are from UK, type JobServe, quite famous. If you're from US, Indeed, and I have a list of where to find jobs, which I'll share later. I think the portal which I said, free community, I said, that's where we'll have list down all the job portals that you might see. So if you see now, just search for AI, and you'll see AI platform engineer, 800, 850 pounds a day, which is quite. And this I'm talking about. There are much higher jobs as well, which they don't advertise. They go through word of mouth, which will be, but it's quite common with saying learn things like LLM, which is large language models. It also talks about Kubernetes, which we'll see that, which is nothing but a container orchestration tool. It also talks about generative AI, which we saw earlier just now, cloud computing, because that's where the underlying infrastructure needs to be done. AI and machine learning knowledge, CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous delivery, operations tool, MLOps tool, MLS tool like ML Flow, Kubeflow, which we'll see that as well in a minute. But also there are other job roles you can do quite hot and quite good rate, 600, 650. That's one. Same thing, you can also search for Gen AI, the type of word Gen AI in the job portal. You'll see tons of jobs. That's what you should be preparing. How to prepare? I'll also give you an example later on how do you do that. Rather than learning everything, how do you shortcut? We'll talk about that as well. So generative AI, an example. You can also, as I said, so there are tons and tons of jobs. If you go to the job market, screenshot, I've picked it up from LinkedIn, 107,000 artificial intelligence. Though not everyone will be applicable, but I'm 100% confident you'll be easily 100 to 200 jobs that are very good paying, applicable to you. You can easily figure out. And if you follow what I'm going to give you today, out of those 100, you can easily get one or two easily, as long as you follow and do the work which I'm going to give you later. So whether from US or UK or Canada, India, Middle East, you'll see, just go to LinkedIn or go to the job portal and just type these words. You'll see tons and tons of jobs. Okay. So that was part one, AI, generative AI. Next part, because the AI needs data and you need to work on data. So when I say data, it could be Databricks, which is a platform which we'll be talking a little bit later. Snowflake, I'll give you the documentation where you want to go deeper onto these topics. Or in Microsoft Azure cloud, Azure is a cloud from Microsoft. They have tools like Data Factory or Lake Storage or Synapse or similarly, AWS has Athena, Glue, Kinesis, EMR. Don't need to worry about, don't just assume there are some tools available. Like that, Google has BigQuery. So make sure you have some familiarity depending on the job and why you should be learning data. uh, as I said, is growing exponentially. 175 zettabytes going to come within next year or 2025 alone itself, and it's growing exponentially because we are generating a lot of data, but then also the machine learning needs that data to be to give us a very specific the generative AI or AI models that requires. Now, why data and why I'm focusing too much about data and cloud specifically for AI? Because what happens is the generative AI needs a lot of computing. It needs a lot of data processing. And when I say computing, I mean processing CPUs and the underlying storage to process the data. So it needs an infrastructure. You can do it on-premise in your data center, but the chipsets are if you look at the Nvidia's shares, the underlying chipsets are like changing very very quick frequently. You buy a machine, it's outdated, and so enterprises have to need a solid cloud and data strategy, um, and because they need that for their AI and machine learning as well. So that's why if you look at how do you find the job in data, you go and just search for data engineer, and suddenly you will see 400, 500, 300, 600. And this is, I'm talking about a lower, there are much higher jobs as well. You will see 600 to 650 to 700 pounds a day. What? Data engineer. So you'll be searching for data SQL, ETL, extract, transform. And again, trust me, it's easy to learn. Rather, you're not learning everything end to end right now. We'll give you tips and shortcuts. I'll explain you. Or you can go and search for data analyst, and who will be, I'll explain you the role as well. How does it look like? But data analyst, you'll see again tons and tons of jobs. Or you go for, the best part will be if you have a combination of two, data and AI. And that is where your entry becomes easy, because now someone to compete with you they have to know data and they have to know AI. And how do you do that? We'll explain you as well. So the more combination you have, the less competition you will see and the more higher salary you will see, because it'll be difficult for someone to learn these things. But I'm going to give you that path. You can learn that quickly the way I did it. Hundreds of others do it. So data and AI. Am I making sense? Is it still making sense? Go put the chat window and say, are you still with me on this data and AI combination part? Did you get it? Yes. Did you get it? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's move on this. Similarly, as saying is not also do another combination, data and DevOps, someone who knows DevOps as well as data. So if you took now another 600, 900 pounds a day, and these are the jobs I want you to apply, because competition will be less. And that's how been going. I was going the most difficult job someone can think of, less competition, but as long as I know how to do data plus DevOps. So I work on, for example, Glue, Athena. I was talking about Docker, Terraform, these things using on AWS Cloud, using CI/CD on AWS Cloud. So a combination of data as well as DevOps. You see, again, hundreds of thousands of jobs and good paying jobs. So if you see 110,000 data engineer jobs, I'm just talking about data engineer type, data analyst, data architects, data developer, data project manager, program manager, data migration, data governance, a lot of those jobs that you see again here. So these are the jobs again across data analyst itself, tons and tons of jobs. So, but go with the combination, and then you can easily get data analyst is easy in my view to get a job, provided you learn, but there'll be equally competition because there'll be tons of data analyst guys will be there. Then you'll be competing with them. But still, okay, if you're good on, if you do the hands-on, which I'll explain you a little bit later, you should be able to get a job. So that's part number two. With that, if you go to part number three, which is cloud, which is where underlying is, and I say when I say cloud, which is something probably you guys all know. If I'm not going to repeat that or very simple concept, but uh, why on cloud? Why say, as I said, as a given you hint that you need infrastructure, you need compute, which is CPU, you need processing, you need the entire pipeline, right from data coming in, sorting out, processing of data, which we'll see in a flow in a minute. So you need computing, you need memory, you need the underlying infrastructure, you need the security, everything. So AI and machine learning need all this, and that's why on cloud. Now, that has again you already have seen, I've started seeing 2008. So I was talking about 2011, 12. I realized, and I didn't work on till 2011, 12. I realized that everyone's moving towards cloud and DevOps. And I'm lucky that I moved very at the time. But then since then, it's growing exponentially. And 2018, 19, I started moving into multi-cloud, which is more than one cloud. You will see it's still going to grow exponentially on that cloud that you see. So if you look at the market trends, it's one 1.3 $1,600 billion industry on by 2030 is going to grow. So till 2018-19, companies were picking one cloud, whether it's AWS cloud, Azure cloud, or Google cloud. AWS was more common. AWS Azure. 2019 onwards, we see Microsoft, AWS, sorry, Microsoft, Oracle, Google. They started investing a lot of money onto their cloud, and companies started picking up more than one cloud. So if you see in last, so multi-cloud is nothing but more than where one customer using multiple more than one cloud for different reasons, which I'll explain you in a minute. So every project I worked since 2019 till date, all of them I've worked, majority of them were either three cloud or four cloud. Some of them were two cloud, but none of the client I've worked, which is a single cloud. Either most of them are all the four cloud, AWS, Azure, Google, Oracle. That's how I picked up a lot of things. And if you know more than one cloud, finding someone who knows more than one cloud is not an easy task. And that's where you have advantage. That's why I was able to demand that much money. Now, I'm not saying that you begin with all the four cloud, but at least have more than one cloud. So if you look at enterprise cloud strategy, today 92% of organizations have multi-cloud strategy in place, or and 82% of large organizations have already adopted. So guys like Pentagon, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, I've seen pretty much all the banks nowadays, they have multi-cloud. I can't name my clients under NDA, but most of the banks I've worked with, telecoms I've worked with big European telecom. They have multiple all the big names under them. They buy and sell those telecom companies, and they have all the four cloud as well, as you see. So if you go out now, also that reflects in the job prospect as well. So, and companies these days, you will see more and more, they're looking at AWS, GCP, Azure. They want someone to have more than one cloud skill as well. So this is another screenshot here. CI/CD, they expect so that the same resource can work on multiple cloud providers as well. So why you do? You, as I said, is in on-premise, there is something called as AWS, Azure, Google, Oracle. You're doing, they have a dedicated pipe called direct so Amazon AWS has a dedicated pipe, big pipe. Think of it as a big pipe we call direct connect, where gigabytes of network can transfer. In Google, you have interconnect. In Microsoft, you have express route. Oracle, you have fast connect. This is to on-premise, but they can talk to each other now. It's like a sub milliseconds of network latency between cloud to cloud. I work with a lot of clients where they're using Oracle for etc. cloud, but Microsoft for a lot of security as your Entra ID and so on, Amazon for commodity servers, Google for machine learning and so on. So they use mix and match services on these points as well. So now the question comes, which cloud I should be beginning with? And again, you do what is right for you, where you're getting a job. If you're not, if you are, if not, look at what the top market is. AWS is the biggest market share, followed by Microsoft, as you're very fast catching up, followed by Google. AWS has been for last 13 consecutive years market leader but in infrastructure and platform as a service, IaaS and PaaS services. So maybe we begin with AWS. Azure, one of the fastest growing cloud, but then also they have a very strong Microsoft uh, coherence. They also have own purchase Git. They also have .NET community. They also have SQL databases. More than 95% Fortune 500 companies use Microsoft Azure cloud. So maybe begin with two cloud, AWS and Azure. Or maybe begin with, if you're Oracle working on Oracle, Exadatas and autonomous databases work on Oracle. How many guys, let me know, how many guys are thinking or do, just put in the chat window, AWS, is it AWS, Azure, Google or multi-cloud? What do you have in what do you have your preferences? Let me see. Put the chat window, guys. AWS, AWS Azure, okay. AWS, a lot of guys are AWS, yeah. Try to pick more than one cloud. If really want to go grow, AWS is good, yeah. Azure, why do cloud with? Amir, I'm not sure what you mean by why do cloud with. What is VAS? I'm not sure what is. Oh, AWS, you mean? Okay, got it. Understood. Yeah, AWS and Google, AWS and Azure. Yes, brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, so pick more than one cloud, as I said, is. So this is an example we cover in a multi-cloud framework, which I mentioned about. And these are things, if you go and someone into the interview and say, what kind of things you've done, we literally do it on a serverless application, which is on active. You can even go for um, uh, like basically the data driven architecture in that, and a lot of my banks I know are working with are implementing that, but it will be primary and secondary, which means you have a data as a primary on site, but then you have a standby site on another cloud, which is data is replicating, and then if one site goes down, they have an ability to go to the another cloud provider. Some have regulatory requirement, some have their like mandate from the governance team they have to have to avoid single point of failure, even though they are in cloud, and even though cloud provides multiple redundancies as well. So this is architecture. I'm not going to go deeper, but on a high level, there is a think of it as someone sitting at the top, which is distributing traffic to half traffic to here, half traffic to there, the one cloud, another cloud, active, or you can say active passive. You can these are all configurable options. And then within those, each cloud provider also had their own latency and so on. So again, so this is one. So if you look at the cloud jobs, 260,000, 184,000, 66,000, these are all cloud on LinkedIn. You probably need to know. And that basically is the second and third part. And that brings me the fourth part, why I should be doing MLOps, AI ops, and DevOps. These itself, these three things which I mentioned will be able to give you lots of job. What will be differentiator for me, why I'm able to demand in excess of £1,000 a day is because I can do all these three things, but I can also do ML ops. I can do right from a high level design to all the way to the hands-on. And then I can also do the other parts, which is ML ops and AI ops and DevOps. I may not be doing all the time, but at least helping them as and when they need it, because I'm busy on high level design. So they can leverage my skill on different places, different time I can support and guide. They know. So that's something you should be doing. So what exactly, if you look at the DevOps market, it's huge, it's growing. It's being now good 2006, 7. I think people started using DevOps methodologies. I started as a little bit 2012, but it's going to grow only on here. It's currently in 2022, it was 8 billion. It's going to grow 20% annually, and it's growing exponentially. All these things are growing because these work, these in entire world. Now, there's something called cloud native applications. Companies have started developing the cloud native applications where you have underlying infrastructure cloud, but they don't want it locking to a particular cloud. So what they do, they build it for a containerized solution where I build it on a container solution. For those who are not aware, I'm going to cover that. If you see question, I'll cover that. You have a containers, which is kind of a Docker, which you are running microservices, and then I build my application as a containerized application so that I can host it in any one cloud provider and I can run container orchestration tool like Kubernetes and Docker and so on. So there's a cloud native, huge. If you're a developer, make sure you work towards cloud native. If you're an administrator, if you're an architect, make sure you do microservices architecture, event-driven architecture in a microservices environment that you're doing so that you can do cloud native applications basically. Though. So on a high level, I'm going to, is there anyone who's familiar with DevOps? I can skip this part. If not, let me know so I can cover this question. Why should we do cloud with AI? Amir, okay. So if you can just learn cloud or you can just learn AI, but AI needs the underlying, it needs a platform to run somewhere. It needs, you can build your own systems, but companies say it becomes very challenging to build. Um, it needs to build what do you call it needs a environment where whatever you're developing, whatever the machine learning models you're developing, it needs to process the data. It needs to be trained and retrained. You need to data processing. All these need infrastructure, and you'll be good at doing it in cloud as well. Yeah. So can you repeat the last slide, Ugo? Is it? I'm not sure if it is this one or this one. I'm going to cover this. Does anyone need this slide? I can skip this. Otherwise, do you need just type DevOps or DOP? So I can cover. Otherwise, we'll skip this part if you're already familiar with this DevOps slide. Okay, previous slide. Okay, so this is a cloud native underlying. Okay, let me cover Ugo. So underlying you have an infra. So you're building application for cloud native, which means it's built mainly for cloud purpose first. Cloud native first cloud, which means I can run it on one cloud, but I have ability to take it from one cloud to another cloud without changing anything on the code. That's what is cloud native means. So I'm building application which is called as containerized application that can run in as long as there's a container system, I can run anywhere. It doesn't need to be on AWS or Azure. I'm not using anything proprietary to AWS or Azure. So that containerized application is a, your developers will know, or if you're a developer, you should know, or if you're an architect, you should know that containerized application so that I can take it from AWS to, on AWS, I'm running on under EKS, for example, Elastic Kubernetes Service. I'm running there as a container. I can take that application and run it without any changes to the code on to Azure cloud or any other cloud as well. Now, DevOps, I'll go on very high level. So typically you're a developer, they will develop using a developer tool. So before developer, there'll be business analyst who will develop the app or who will design saying how does requirement, they will have a Jira or Confluence or a page where they will have the requirement gathering everything. They will give you the requirement to the developer. Developer will develop the code using a integrated development environment ID, push into a code repository like AWS or Azure or Git or whatever code repository. From there, typically you can do manual build, which means it'll compile, it'll pick the code and create a deployable unit, which could be a jar or var file or ER file if you're coming from my era when we used to do and archive files or deploy on an application server. Or you can deploy a containerized image so that the image can be deployed in a containerized system. Now you can do a manual build or you can do an automated build using CI/CD tool like Jenkins or GitOps, or there are a lot of other third party or AWS pipeline and so on. There it will go and create an image, which can be, which is your entire code deployed in an image, which is stored in image repository. Then your administrator, you as an administrator, ops person will come and they will deploy the Kubernetes cluster, which is like underlying infrastructure. Think of it as servers or a machine inside a machine or a servers, something called as Kubernetes cluster. That Kubernetes cluster can be created either using automation tools like command line. You can do use the graphical user interface. You can use automation tool like Terraform and build this entire Kubernetes cluster. And then you go and deploy this whole system or whatever you've developed, you deploy and you done it in automated fashion, which is called a CI continuous integration. You're developing the code and code repository and then deploying that code into the infrastructure, that's CD, that's CI CD. I hope that makes sense. We'll move on otherwise. Is it all making sense, guys? Put in the chat window. Are you still with me? Put in the chat window, still with me on this. Getting dark here. And on time wise, we're okay, we're running slow. I'm going to move fast. Okay. Are we going to the right pace? Is it slow? Is it fast? Is it okay? Is it all okay? Yes, still going good. Okay, great. Okay, so then you have a machine learning ML ops, which is you have a DevOps, and then machine learning together and data engineering, all these combined together, three together machine learning operations. And in that machine learning operations, it's again heavily growing, and it's going to grow exponentially, that MLOps market. So one key takeaway do is maybe do some MLOps. We're using Kubernetes cluster, Kubeflow. These are the more advanced things happening. Now, if you look at the CI/CD, same. Earlier we were talking about for developing your application code, which can go on web services and so on. Something similar, you have a machine learning on AWS cloud, a machine learning tool called SageMaker or service that creates on SageMaker. And you as a developer will develop, or whosoever is data scientist or whatever you call it, they will build the machine learning, or they will develop the model and deploy that model into a deployable unit. And then someone will come and that's CI, and then CD will be take that machine learning model and deploy in an environment. It could be Kubernetes, it could be SageMaker, it could be some other place as well. It could be on-premise world, but deploying that machine learning pipeline, machine learning and then training it, and then maybe some application using that machine learning inference that we call from an AI point of view. So that whole cycle is CI/CD, but for machine learning, which is called as MLOps. And you can automate this. You can do partially. There are different phases of MLOps. There are different stages of maturity level of MLOps that can happen. But because of time, I'm not going to go deeper into. Um, so, so you're doing and building machine learning models, deploying them, testing them, and so on that you have. So why learn? There are tons and tons of jobs, 600, 700, 800 pounds DevOps, and you'll be looking at the terms like Kubernetes, Linux, CI/CD, Ansible, Terraform, Git, GitLab, and so on. So hundreds and thousands of jobs. This is a high level job. When in a machine learning happens or a cloud infrastructure happens, you have a data exploration, which means someone will be bringing the data, and that data might be bought by your infrastructure engineer or machine learning operations engineer. They set up the underlying infrastructure, and then data is bought from multiple sources, built, and data analysis part is done. It could be by your data analyst or data engineers. And then architecture part is done and handled by solution architect or data architect. And then your machine learning developers or data scientists will be, or researchers will be developing those models. And then that model needs to be deployed by your MLOps engineer or a data engineer or data modeling stage, bottom one. And then parallel, these roles are going in parallel. Then you have a data owners, data management. All this flow happens one after another after another. You can be part of just one part or multiple parts. The more part you can handle, the better earning you can do. But doesn't need to be just one part is enough. You can be product manager, you can be program manager, you can be a data owner, you could be a migration expert, you could be a whole MLOps, data engineer, project manager, program manager, and so on. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. So now, as I said, is because of time, I'm not going to go on this, but there are different roles. If you go to the portal community, which is a free community, k2academy.com/AI community, there I've mentioned, if you go into the classroom, under there, they have AI machine learning generative AI for beginners. We have these roles. What are different type of job roles you can find? And the more, the better. But again, one is also more than enough as well. I hope that makes sense. Is it all flowing? Is it all making sense? That completes the first phase of this part. I think it's taken a slightly longer, but I hope if it's taken, I hope you understand why you need to learn this now. Yep. Are you still with me? Am I making sense? Is it still 5-star? If you have to rate it between 1 to 5 right now, just put in the chat window 1 to 5. 5, I'm okay. Happy? Now, yeah, thank you. Thanks, everyone. Jaya. But guys, keep posting your questions. Thank you, Jafar. 5 stars. Thank you. And by the way, you know that you can give 6 or 7 as well. If someone says 5, you can give. I'm just joking. Thank you very much. Shoaib, 4. I understand I can't please everyone, but let me know what I could have done to make it 5-star, Shoaib. Okay, well, there's always a scope of improvement. Let me know next time what I could do. Coffee, both of you guys have given 4. Thank you very much for making me accountable. Great. Let's move on. Salaries. What salaries you can expect? I'm going to go fast, but as I said, um, can someone in my team tell how to remove these lines and so on? If I think there is some drawing, someone anyway. So tech companies there are huge jobs. There are $1 million compensation, and there are guys getting it. I know, and I know a couple of friends in Dubai. I know a couple of guys in Bay Area who are getting, but an average OpenAI 307,000, 400,000, 650,000. These are quite people are getting if you're good, which you eventually become and will do it as well. There's another one which is if you see that the top 10 highest paying Uber 300,000 is average. And I know because I interact, I have a lot of such guys inside the program who are doing now 300, they're going towards 350, 200 to 250 and so on. So these companies are paying good, and these are screenshots from the job portals that see the jobs that are available. I'm talking about now average in the salaries are 236,000 for machine learning, going from 186 to 298,000, and good salaries on here as well. Again, in Canada, UK, if you go average that you see on uh, typically less for other jobs, but if you look at here, 95, 90,000, and there are 100, 120,000 as well. I'm talking about these are average talking about, but there are exceptions. There are a lot of outliers like who are earning very, very good money as well. Same things for with India as well. Yeah. So good money, again, how much salary you can do, go to the classroom, again, career guidance, there is a chapter, and there are plenty of those. If you have any questions, follow up, post there as well on that community, which is k2academy.com/free AI community as well. Now, with that, 12 minutes, just type word 12. So I know 12, and I want you to challenge your, are you happy with where you are? And say, if you're happy, good. You don't need to be in this class. If you are, let me know. Thanks, Naresh, for rating 5. 1 to 12, sorry, 12 minutes. Which one is keeping you stuck? And um, you can put more than one. Just type me and just put number 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever there. And I'll tell you, I've gone through all of them. So I'll be put my hand up myself first. I've been battling with almost all of them except the number 9. I'm too old. I never felt that I'm too old to learn anything. But if you are, be right there and say, me 9, there's nothing wrong. Just want you to know and say so that I can help. And if no one is hitting any blockers, then there's no point. Karen is saying number 5, don't have a coding and programming knowledge. Brilliant, Karen. You are my gang. Till date, I have no coding. I hate coding. I don't like it. And good point is that I'm sure of a lot of guys. Okay, so 5, I till date I don't have any coding knowledge, and you don't need to be a coder, but you have enough knowledge to say there's something called as library. There's something called as frameworks. There's something called as some words you use, but then you give it to developers. You know enough about today, or someone needs to code it. You don't need to trust me. And also within administration, within operations, there are a lot of jobs that doesn't need any coding. Till date, my 24th year, I've never done any coding. I know enough to talk about, but with ChatGPT, I can even go to ChatGPT and say, give me the code. It gives me the exact code. Or I can say, I can give it someone's code and say, fix this code. It'll give it to me. So don't worry about that. Number 5. Okay. Number 7 is I don't know what to learn. This is what I'm going to cover. Don't worry. Number 7, I'm going to cover. Number 11 is um, show if you're saying number 11, I'm highly paid. Will I be starting from zero? So first of all, no, you'll be starting from zero. Not starting from zero, you'll be adding on top of that. Now, one thing I'll tell you, exactly number 11, I was exactly on number 11 back in 2012, 11, 12. I was drawing, I think if I'm not wrong, 600 or 700 pounds a day I have. And I was thinking I'm on the top of the ladder on 2012 that time. And then, so at that time I was doing security, identity and access management on that. And then suddenly when I was working as a contractor, year-long contract. After every year, I have to change the job. Of course, there was extension, but I wanted to go and I always try to look at what is better and become better on. So everything was moving towards cloud on DevOps. And that's when I decided, okay, if you think that you know or you're earning a lot, you never know. If you don't upgrade, you'll soon be outdated. So make sure you learn and upgrade yourself. I'm going to cover all of the other things as well. Amit, thank you. 1, 11, 7. One I'm going to cover. These things I'm going to cover in a minute here. So first is, now these blockers, I'm going to ask you a question is, let me know what is ATS stands for. Some of you guys already know. Just put in the chat window ATS. If you know, type yes or no. If you know or don't know ATS. For me, just put in the chat window if you know ATS, if you know. I'm going to keep it fast now because there are 12 I am going to give you 8 mistakes and I'll move quickly. No. Okay. So that's yeah, that's right, Ankita. Good. Application tracking system. So what happens is mistake number 1, if you're applying for the jobs, not getting your resume is not ATS compliant, which means application tracking system. What happens is then resumes they go through a system and it tells, should I select or not select? Should I select or not select? Because there are hundreds, thousands of resumes go. So make sure your resume is application tracking compliant. So you can buy a service. They will give you, if you do decide to join that 5, as I said, selective members I've said, 5, we in part of Mastermind, we have a platform which you can feed in and it'll tell you whether your resume is application tracking compliant, ATS compliant or not. So make sure your resume is application ATS compliant. Please do that. That's very, very important. Now, second thing is that now, guys, stay attentive because I'm going to ask questions on this. You have 7 jobs. Some are repetitive, some are different. You have 7 jobs. How many resumes? How many how many resumes you will be applying it? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 5? Is it 7? How many jobs you'll be? How many resumes you'll be applying for these 7 jobs? 7. I'm going to wait. Okay, 7. Okay, perfect. So you know then, brilliant. So if you are applying 7, good job. Okay, if you're applying 7, you don't need that. Make sure that, because till now I was reviewing, still till date, after repeating, I've been repeating for last 5 years, 4 5 years. If you have 7 jobs, you have 7 different resumes. 7 different resumes. Make sure you keep a separate and highlight on first page. You can rest all can happen same or slight changes. First page highlight, very, very important. So if you are doing that, that's brilliant. Then already. So mistake number 2 I've seen, still see, have reduced now, but same resume for multiple jobs. It was not done. Mistake number 3 is not adding relevant skills and or adding non-relevant skills. And what I mean by non-relevant skills is, if the job is for solution architect role, you put in project manager skills, you put in something which you've done 10 years back, one Word or Office or something which you not being highlighted. Maybe you want to add it, but add it maybe third, fourth page. First page is very, very important. So make sure that you don't write down irrelevant things or things. And trust me, I review hundreds of resumes on a monthly basis. We see the same repeat mistakes. So don't clutter yours. Less is more, but important point is what employer is asking in. Very, very important on that. Abhishek, we don't do any certificate of attendance. Sorry, we don't do attendance. This is the value. Certificate will mean nothing. Trust me. If I give you a certificate, that means nothing. So come and stay attentive, ask, engage. It's a waste of that paper means nothing if you don't have a knowledge. If you don't implement what I'm going to tell, even this class will be waste if you don't implement, period. I'll tell you seriously, don't waste and collect certificate just for the sake of collection of. Do and implement, act, otherwise you'll not get value. Seriously, I'm telling Abhishek, that's a one thing. Yeah, yes, we'll good recording, definitely. So make sure that you have someone to review your resume. Think from a recruiter's point of view, think from an employer's point of view, what they are going to look at if they look at your resume. If your resume is not being picked up, if you're not getting interview calls, there's something wrong with your resume, period. That's you need to review and get it done. So make sure. And this is exactly what we did. If you follow those 2 things or 3 things, and then few other things which I'm going to mention in a minute, but that's what is Joby did exactly. Came to us, I think around last year, same time, last year, June, July, moved from US to UK to Australia, especially southern part of Australia. It was pretty good, but he's struggling to get interview calls, not even interview calls. And then we reviewed his interview LinkedIn profile as well as resume, found out, suggested, and that's what started getting back-to-back interviews, resulted in job offer. So make sure pay special attention to job, especially the resume part and the LinkedIn, which I'll go to cover in a minute as well here. So that's mistake number 4 is not optimizing the LinkedIn profile. And what I mean by LinkedIn profile is your LinkedIn, you've applied for the job, but LinkedIn says different story. There are 13-point checklist you should be doing, following the 13 points. So make sure that you do highlight. When I go to your LinkedIn profile, I should say, wow, this is a guy who looks like who have done it. And there's a way to write on that LinkedIn. So make sure, especially the headline, experience, and then how do you do the project? How do you write projects and skills? These are 3 4 things are very, very important. So 99% chances are that a recruiters or especially the employer whosoever is going to interview you, they go to your LinkedIn profile, they see a total different story. Don't do that. Second thing is that we say something called as content. Write down, start writing the content related to whether you are looking for a job, not as a that I'm learning, but as an authority, as someone who is giving advice to others, who's sharing the implementation of what they're doing. So maybe do some project and implement and show that. So that's what is for building authority and profile. So make sure that you do those, because that's when we'll build your profile And employers, when they go, 90% of the interview battle is won even before even before you're going for the interview. So the recruiter or the employer or potential employer or someone who's going for an interview, they already know your profile, what you might be doing as well. Am I making sense, guys? Put in the chat window. Am I making sense about the LinkedIn and so on? These LinkedIn, because that's when plays a very important as well. How? Okay, very good question. Amir is saying how to link LinkedIn profile in line with 7 different CVs. So when 7, LinkedIn will always be superset. So you'll be writing everything. So if you're applying for AWS Azure, you write about AWS, Azure, DevOps, write multiple skills. You're not changing. So the resume will be just a specific resume, and LinkedIn is a superset which will include everything. You're not removing anything. You're adding, but adding skills which you know that you're going to apply in 2025 and so on. Okay, so this is what we did we have this whole exercise where we do and a whole complete review, and we have a dedicated module or course about LinkedIn and also how to write LinkedIn on as an authority. And so that's what Michael, I did my homework, updated my LinkedIn profile, and got tons and tons of emails for job prospect. And if your profile is good, if you're writing, and we'll also teach you how to reach, make sure you also reach out to these recruiters and start commenting on theirs, and but useful engaging comments. Write down the comment, whatever you, as I said, is your LinkedIn profile will become authority, and people will start recruiters will start contacting you as well. Yeah, so as well. So that's mistake number 4. Mistake number 5 is not applying early enough. How many of you guys are like, even before you're ready, you start applying? That's what it should be. So not applying. What happens is typically, and I believe, truly believe, imperfect action is better than perfect inaction, or done is better. Done is better than just thinking I want to make it perfect. I'm going to make it perfect, or I'm not ready right now. A lot of guys have that because people come in the program. I have hundreds and hundreds of guys in the program, and they come and say, "Oh, I'm applying. I'm still learning. I'm still learning." That learning never finishes. So there's an old method which is not working, which is traditional. You learn, and keep learning for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months, and then you go and realize, oh, you lack a lot of things. Whereas I say, uh, know enough so that you can talk, prepare the resume, fast forwarding 3 months, 4 months, write down everything that you probably either going to learn or you know that employer is looking for, so that you're going to learn anyway, irrespective of that. Write down and start applying. You're applying not to clear the interview. You're applying so that you can start getting interview calls. And once you get to start interview call, I'll show you how to prepare for that in a minute here. So take an example of this one. Let's suppose you go onto the job portal that says Azure AKS, which is Azure Kubernetes Service. You know nothing. You just type and find out. You come to us and say, hey, they're asking about Azure Kubernetes Service. What should I do? And then Azure Kubernetes Service is nothing but a containers and Kubernetes. I'm not going to go, because of the time, I'm not going to go deeper onto this, but on our YouTube channel, we have everything about. So you go and search for containers and Kubernetes. And then what is Azure or Kubernetes implementation on Azure? You have Azure Container Instance, you have Azure Container Registry, you have Azure Container Kubernetes Services. So what do? You go and learn anything and everything about containers in Azure. So you go for create a containers, create Azure Kubernetes Service. So you go and create a container instance, deploy the application on that, create a Kubernetes cluster, maybe using command line, using graphical user interface, using Terraform, and then perform all these labs, deploy the application, then configure storage, persistent volumes, whatever you're going to do with respect to whatever can happen on the Kubernetes service, and you can easily do it probably in 2, 3, 4 days, more than enough, much more than enough. But you need to do very focused study. You do storage, volumes, claims, and so on. Then integrate, go a little bit further step down, Enter ID, which is for security, authentication, authorization, and then do 1 or 2 project work related to that. Maybe deploy a containerized application or do DevOps CI/CD on that Azure Kubernetes service, and you put all these 6 in advance, write down, send it, and while your resume is being reviewed, you've written all these things in the resume, but you're learning and implementing this on the cloud, Azure cloud. And then you go for interview and then look and search for the interview question. In fact, the program or the bootcamp or the workshop I said earlier, the mastermind, we give you what interview questions you can expect based on the job description of AI platform will give you those things that you can do. So what all things you should be doing and writing and looking at as well. So different type of questions, scenario based questions, technical questions, interview questions, and so on. And you prepare for this interview, and then maybe on first time you might fail for the interview. But if you do the similar job, second time application, third time application, trust me, by fifth time, you do the same exercise for 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and within 3 to 4 weeks, you'll start getting the results. People will go take you to the next level, to the next level, to the interviews. And by the time fourth or fifth interview, you'll be confident. And I've seen this, I've done it myself hundreds of times, because every year that's how I learn. That's how I go and implement. And that's what I teach and implement, go deeper into. Am I making sense? Put in the chat window, am I making sense? Put in the chat window, is it all making sense? Yes or no? So Shoaib is saying, so after completing the DevOps bootcamp course, will I be able to apply for the senior DevOps role with both AWS and Azure? Absolutely. If you've learned, I'm not sure, Shoaib, if you're part of our program or not already. If you are, then yes, absolutely, you should be. And you're learning, you should be learning DevOps on AWS Azure. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. We'll be assisting your LinkedIn profile. Absolutely. Yes. Yep. Okay. So, so do you feel confident on this? And this is what is, and with that, you also do multiple mock interviews. So don't listen, don't wait here. Uh, you do prepare for the interview, but then go multiple mock interviews before the actual interview. So said what, and that's where the panel is, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. So you talk and you go multiple mock interviews, and before the real interview, that will have nerve settling down, and that is the mantra of getting result. This is what I said, and this is the exact thing we did for Fayong. He was looking for Azure, and that's what I totally new to Azure. Wanted to change my career to cloud, and I received job offer after 1 month. That's the mantra of getting quick results. And then you learn more. Then you go deeper and become expert. Go to the when you're going on the job, make sure that you don't do any shortcuts. This is a shortcut version. But shortcuts will not take you far. Of course, you have to learn. So go deeper and become expert in that entire Azure then do a lot of other things, which I'm going to talk about in a minute here. This is another one here. Asma got a job in pretty occupied moving. So she moved from Canada to Dubai, got a job in Dubai, and she wanted to be closer to, I think she's from India or Pakistan, I forgot, but she moved from Canada to Dubai because she wanted to be closer to her home, and still learning hands-on lab. I'm still doing 305, which is Azure Solution Architect and so on. So the new and better approach is your first objective should be, how can I land interview calls? Once you get the interview calls, how do I clear the interview? And once I clear the interview, how do I become better in that particular job? That's how you should be doing as well. So that's mistake number 5, was taking not applying early enough. Mistake number 6 is not hands-on and project work. Not doing hands-on and project work is, so that's why we say very, very extensive. Everything that you're going to learn, of course, there'll be small hands-on lab to do like in the real world, but then do just an example of AWS. I could sense and guess a lot of guys are AWS, so I picked up a AWS screenshot, a project from a AWS uh, track. So you deploy 3-tier architecture on end-to-end 3-tier. You have a database tier, application tier, web tier. You configure load balancers. You configure firewall. You configure migrate the data from on-premise to cloud and AWS cloud. Do one end-to-end of 3-tier architecture if the job demands that, or maybe do an entire CI/CD pipeline like in the real world, or migrate your application and databases and data from on-premise to cloud, and that will give you, and then go on to the interview. So project-based learning, not doing it. Maybe this is another screenshot or another project from AI machine learning. Depending on what kind of a jobs you're applying, we have everything for you. So go for example, SageMaker if you're picking, or maybe Azure AI Studio, OpenAI tools, and so on. This is another one from Argo CD, which is a for Kubernetes clusters, or Terraform, end-to-end CI/CD, automating entire end-to-end infrastructure build as well. So I'm going to fast because I think you can go deeper. There's tons and tons of projects. I have 100 plus projects. For each job role, there's a project, multiple. So this is a Kubernetes cluster, deploying Kubernetes cluster on AWS cloud using Terraform, and then deploying application using on top of that using Argo CD. Or you can use our own tools as well if you want. So that's mistake number 6. Mistake number 7 is not enough in-demand skills. And there'll be one more bonus I'm going to give you. But I hope you are understanding. Are you still with me? Not enough in-demand skills. So they are still working on outdated. Everyone is competing with DevOps. Everyone is competing with AWS. Everyone is competing. That's where more than one skill, you see all these things which I said. So pick up what is hot in the market and do all these. That's why That's why the guys who see or work with us, or I'm working on these on to get a demand. So things like Kubeflow. So it is a machine learning operations MLOps uh, platform or Kubernetes Kubeflow built on top of Kubernetes for MLOps. So you have an underlying infrastructure that is a Kubeflow on top of it can be run. It's underlying using Kubernetes to deploy. These are kind of the things we are going to give you. But these are things you should be setting you apart in the job. Are you still with me? Do you understand what I'm saying now, guys? Put in the chat window. Is it still with me? Do you see the difference? Will you be, do you feel confident if you do all these things, you're going to get a job and a good paying job, not average job? Yes. Am I still doing a good job, or am I still 5 or not 4? Or I do feel confident. Thank you. Thanks. Yes. Not sure without years experience. Karen, that's a myth again. You think that you need years and years experience. On any of the job which I've gone, I've not had just a couple of weeks training. Trust me, I can confidently say it's the two things. If you don't believe in yourself, employer will easily figure it out. So so if we are going to cover that in a minute, you are on the point. Absolutely, Shaika. Thank you very much. I know because I've lived and breathed. I live and breathe. I am doing it. I've done it for not for myself, but hundreds and hundreds of guys and hundreds of thousands of. Yes, skill will work. Yes, absolutely. You have to be good. Yeah, and we'll make you good. So this is, as I said, is maybe Kubeflow. And this is on top of, I'm talking about this, but then on top of that, maybe Kubeflow, maybe do Argo CD, maybe Helm. Helm is for deploying packaged app or applications on Kubernetes cluster, Prometheus, Grafana, all those ELK stack, monitoring, logging, and all those things, history of service mesh. These are the things which companies look for and someone knows. So do some projects on around, as I said, do Terraform, Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, which I've already mentioned, all these things they'll say. And now some skills, which is not just alone, but multi-skilled, which is easy to then get your job. So maybe just saying cloud, multi-cloud. Further multi-cloud AI engineer. Or maybe DevOps, but not just DevOps, but DevOps with MLOps, with other things. Maybe, or AI-powered cloud engineer, maybe multi-cloud data scientist, maybe AI ML solution architect, cloud native AI DevOps, maybe data centric AI engineer, AI ethics and governance, project manager who has a knowledge of data and cloud. I hope that makes sense. So that way you can be different. That's how you earn a tons and tons of money. Though within one job you can do, but if you have different skills, it'll be much better as well. Now, mistake number 8 is final 8 number mistake is not doing mock interviews. And this is where I was once. And I used to be very, very nervous when I used to go to interviews because I only had maybe 1 week of study. What I used to do is then I realized then I used to hire someone who was ahead of me, who have done these things, and I used to find and search. And that's how I have pool of now 200 plus guys on all different levels where who come and interview at a level you are or the jobs you're applying. So doing the mock interviews where you go and sit down on different scenarios, scenario-based questions, technical questions, how you've done those interview questions so that you can multiple mocks. So when you go to the interview, you know how to handle those. You'll get a feedback, constant feedback on that. So behavioral questions as well. Like for example, tell me a time and situation where you troubleshoot this critical environment issue on a cloud environment. How did you resolve? That's how companies these days ask the good companies and how you handle that situation. How did your team behaved? How did you describe a time when you had migrated an on-premise application to AWS cloud? Depending on the now, this is all based on job description. You don't need to prepare hundreds and hundreds of questions. Based on the job description, the questions will change. I'm a senior program manager, project manager. How do I update my skill set? So Amir, you should be doing program and management of related to these. My view is based on what I've seen. Uh, just pure project management and project management skill will not go far. Companies expect now to have a technical program manager, technical project manager. So learn these from a high level. You don't need to go deep, but understand so you can talk and you go cloud project management, AI cloud project management. So where you have you go and present yourself and say, hey, um, you've done these projects or not. Okay, so go on a technical program, a little bit of technical if I'm making sense. Surfacing who will do the mock interviews with. So you'll be doing with someone like, so we have a big panel. So the question is coming is who will, I think these are people are sending direct messages. So that's why you may or may not see. I don't know what is the process. I don't think you will be able to see that question if go direct. So the question was, who will do the mock interviews with? So mock interviews are the guys who are at that level. So someone who is sitting on the interview panels, these are the guys who are senior guys who have been taking interviews on other companies, on their companies, or they sit on the interview panel. So these are the guys who have done these things on the interview. Okay. Oh, very good question. John is saying, do we need to have all the certification? Not at all. In fact, that's the next question. Very good question. How do I go about learning all this from a high level? Amir, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. How long it will take to learning all this? I'm going to talk about that as well. Brilliant. These are the questions which I'm going to talk about. Now, another question is successful job. You also interviews, you have a star format. This is being pioneered by AWS Amazon team. They do. So you do focus on stories, customer focus, customer, how do you handle the failures? It's not always good, always successful. So you need to be ready with when was the last time you failed, how did you do, what didn't go right, conflict situations, problem solving. This is on a high end, good paying jobs, leadership stories and time management and so on. So make sure you prepare. So that's where we see the mock interviews. There is a scenario based, technical question based, knowledge based, architectural design, troubleshooting. For example, if in this case there was a requirement was about migration, the job description was migration, so we prepared migration related questions. Okay, so there was this DevOps related, so we did questions about DevOps, CI/CD pipeline, and so on, like that. Now there might be questions about cloud, DevOps. I'm not going to go, but that's where we do in the mastermind I was talking about. We have a weekly resume and job prep clinic where you go and come and sit on a hot seat. So there'll be one person who's sitting on a hot seat, and everyone will be looking, and it'll be nerve wracking. Trust me, when I did this myself first time sitting on, I thought everyone is looking at me, and I'll feel if I don't give right, what people will think. And those are the subconscious mind. We need to overcome those things, challenges. You learn from others how you learn from others what mistakes they are doing so that you don't repeat them. Of tons and tons of every week we have like hundreds of mock interviews calls you can do and come and job clinic as well. Um, Srinivas is saying, are you providing live classes recorded? If I opt for, we have live classes. We have both, but we give you both. You learn at your own pace. We have live, recorded, everything is there. Uh, we prefer live because live is much more fun. Live is where you learn. So we have weekly live, multiple sessions, multiple batches. We're going to talk about Srinivas in a minute. Yeah. So this is exactly what we do on a weekly. And Vaishali, I think she was either out of job or being made redundant or something. I don't remember exactly vaguely, but I was able to excel in multiple interviews. I landed my first desired job within 30 days after. So that's the kind of things that happen because, and then you learn on the job. You get paid to learn, but know enough so that you can confidently say, and I'm not saying cut shortcut and don't learn after that, do learn. You have to become good. That's how you will get paid more and more, higher and higher, and good and good. So become good, but learn these things quickly as well. So bonus, as I said earlier, it's not mandatory, but help. And that's where the last point was certification I was talking about. Oh, I drilled. So I say it helps. If you're going, let me go quicker. Like if I have someone certified, it looks good weightage, but that's not the end of the world. If you don't have a certification, think of it as a employer when they go for, if you have a resume, a certification, it's good, but more than certification, important is hands-on lab, the project work. Can you justify your knowledge or not? That's where the important is. So always say do one or two certifications. We give you all these certifications. You don't need to do all of them. You don't need to do even a single of them as well. And people have got jobs even without single. Until 2000, I think 13, 14, I had a zero certification because I hated, because I was pretty good and strong in my skills. But when I was transitioning, that I realized I should do just to show them. But then I can easily figure out, don't do certification just for the sake of doing certification. Do it by for learning. So we give you all these. You can handpick. We will also tell you at your level which one you should be doing. And we have all the sample questions, certification questions, all those things are there, right from beginner, practitioner to architect to DevOps to anything you can think of. These are top-notch certificates that you are available that you see here. Now, and again, I'm going to show you some of the results that people have got, but this is right from foundation level to professional level to associate level to certificate specialist. I think the portal that we have, I have all these documented, so you don't need to remember. You can go and check out. I'll give you some documentation link as well after this class as well. So again, everything that I say or do is being trusted and tried and hundreds of times, not one twice. We mean because I mean business, I mean businesses, I mean people should get result. That's my whole point. So as again, and these are on Trustpilot, Adil. Worked for 7 years trying to upskill on the cloud, multi-cloud expert, and I'm getting hands experience on AWS Azure. It's done very quickly. I think it's from UK if I'm not wrong. AWS security specialist. Another one here, Usav, again, AWS Cloud, he's cloud practitioner. I have tons and tons of them. As I said, here, Manoj Shurya, Dil Chauhan, Rajiv, these are Wilfred, Adewale, Boris, uh, tons and tons of goes. I can go on and on and on. So that was AWS. Then you go for Azure. You can pick anyone. There is Azure Fundamentals, which is Azure Fundamental. You have associate level or expert level. And then go again, as I said, is tons and tons of who've done data scientists, done 900. These are on websites. Is a 900. Azure 104, which is the administration certification. 204, which is a developer. 305, which is solution architect. 400, which is DevOps, and so on. Do same thing for Google. Same thing for DevOps. DevOps in DevOps, you have a DevOps foundation. You have a DevOps Azure DevOps. I think someone is asking about on Microsoft Azure Cloud or DevOps on AWS. So there's tons and tons of the hundreds of them on DevOps. The same thing on Terraform. Terraform is an infrastructure automation tool to build and automate. So this is Terraform you do on Terraform here. Same thing with, again, as I said, this guy is Lakshmikant. He's not only just AWS, but also Terraform. He's done both. I'm glad to announce that I've done um, AI 102, sorry. So this is Lakshmikant, sorry, my mistake. Lakshmikant, they've done Azure AI 102. And then we have Shan, I've done both Terraform as well as AWS Solution Architect. Same thing with the containers and Kubernetes. You have a CK, CKD, CKS, Docker, Kubernetes, Cloud Native, KCN, and we give all of those certifications. I've tons and tons of that. So I've Piyush, Tushar, Gagi, and I've tons, as I said, is keep go on and on. I don't want to bore you. I have hundreds and hundreds of the guys as well. So that's where I'm going. The path, which is the final part of this. How do I learn all this? That a lot of you guys are asking. I will keep it short and quick, and I'll open up the applications. It's application only. It's not for everyone. And we are going to pick and see. We might suggest you something, but for this, which I'm talking about right now, this is a comprehensive to earn extra 50, 60,000 on top of what you're already doing. Or if not doing, we'll talk about that as well. So are you all type P for path so that I still with me? And put in the chat window your path P. Ashraf, 1, 2. Brilliant. Okay, thanks. Okay, so this is a job accelerator, which is a get job accelerator program, which I've said as I've just on this is the first time I'm opening this, and it's not even to now right now available. We are going to be a wait list. We're going to check that. We're going to be taking the application, and then we'll select who do we select. We're going to be very handful of 5 guys, because this is where I'm going to be. They will be working very closely. Till date, everyone's working in a group with a coach, and I don't. But this time, I'm going to be personally be available on for them on a week by week basis, tracking the progress as well. So it's a mentorship which is very close to my heart, and I'm going to pick up the next level experts that will be called about to make 2025 the best year ever. So it's a mentorship and a coaching accelerator that helps IT professionals to earn minimum, talking about an extra 50,000. And when I say, I really mean it. And everything that I'm going to say is coming from real experience and tried and tested one to achieve growth and recognition. So first week 1 is all about triage to understand what your background is, strength and career goals, what you want to do, identify the gaps, what kind of jobs you are looking for, and then develop a personalized roadmap or a career advancement point. Then, once based on that, we prepare the plan, and we'll be working on 3 legs of or 3 points of the triangle. One is hands-on and project-based, depending on if you're a developer side, more on developer. If you're an architect side, more on architect. If you're on DevOps side, if you're a project manager, if you're DevOps, depending on where the strengths are, so that you get with combination of AI, machine learning, data, cloud, DevOps, AI apps, ops, ML ops, combination of all those with a resume. So that's that, plus then resume and LinkedIn. Very important. Resume, mock, and then mock interviews, all the 3 pillars which I've mentioned. And once you get a job, which I'm 100% confident is probably anything between 8 to 16 weeks, 8 weeks. And some guys, if you already know, maybe as quick as some of the guys which I mentioned, Joby or a couple of other girls which I mentioned, maybe less than a month or as well, if you already know some of the things. But anything from 8 weeks to 16 weeks, confident if you follow what I'm giving you. And once you get a job, then comes the career accelerate part. That's a phase two. So this is a phase one, and this is more advanced accelerate where we once you go and then getting an on-job support, because once you get a job is not enough. You need to be sustaining and you will need a lot of handling, especially the first 1 or 2 months. And then you don't stop there. You keep learning and you go and revise then whatever you've done. The same exercise triage call and say, now with more data, I'm going to go. And so we provide you on-job support, but then assisting you in mastering that skill, whatever doing. I mean, you go to a job maybe 3 months, 4 months down the line, you get new things that you need to learn. You come back and feed it back and keep this goes for as long as for the next entire 2025. So this is that. If you go deeper into this, what how we do is, as I said, is in we step one, we learn whatever based on once we have done the discovery call, once we have done the point for you, then we'll go and look at multi-cloud, DevOps, data, AIML project work on those. We'll help you parallelly with resume, LinkedIn, and then the mock interviews. And that is where the most of time will be, which will be mock and going back to the job by job and say, this is what you should be doing and focusing on based on the agendas you have done as well. So that's pretty much going to be, I'm going to be skipping. I'm just going to go very fast on here. As I said, this is all governed. So the screenshot I'm sharing is on the free community that we have. We have a paid community. That's where you're going to go, but free you can access. That is where you will see the things that I'm going to talk about right now. I've given a recorded. You can go and quickly look at this, a 30-minute video that go on the portal. Go further on that talks about in AWS. These are things you should be learning. Similarly, on Azure, these are things you should be learning. In so AWS, Azure, Google, Oracle, I have given all of them on a very 30,000 foot view so that you don't get overwhelmed. And then we do the same thing for data analyst or data engineer. And then you do the same thing for DevOps and MLOps. So you can learn and see what things. Again, you don't need to learn all of them. And maybe just a couple of things are good based on so that you get a job and then go and then learn on the job, because your objective should be fail fast, meaning get results quickly. So then you go for AIML and we do extensive hands-on lab. I don't need to worry and you don't need to be overwhelmed. Don't need to worry. You don't need to do all of them, just to show you that's all there for you, and tons of projects and hands-on labs as well. And then of course, pick of hundreds of projects. You pick what is right for you and you keep learning. Every week you come and do the projects, 1 or 2 projects, but focus on job search first. And once you get a job, you focus and do those labs as projects work as well. And then, of course, I said project work, which I've said, resumes and mock interviews. So I'm going to repeat this again, which I've already mentioned. And so this is how you get hired. As I said, I've tons and tons of results and testimonials. Vinay, I've cracked 2 companies interviews. Shimran, I've just secured, she recently from US. I wanted to extend my heartful, thankful support. I've secured a job as a data analyst and architect. So as I said, you get 1 year on job support. So it's a lot of work required on our part. And that's how, so that you can become best like Srinivas. I really got confidence after attending your sessions and prestigious project. It's $1 million project for a big engineering company. I'm leading a team of 30. Imagine you're leading a team of 30 guys and you need a support. You know that someone you can go to and say, hey boss, how do I do this? Team is asking this and so on. So you can empower them as well. So this is the mentorship program I'm saying. Payaj, there'll be a discovery call, will be happening going deeper. That's only once you register, but that or once we accept your application. But before that, also, we need to say it's not for everyone. It's on going to be, as I said, this is kind of my personal baby. Been entire, everyone is kind of we've been helped and done, but I'll be working very, very closely because I want to have some big results, want to show them everyone. We've already had tons and tons of results, but I want to take to the next level. That's my whole point about in 2025. So, this is the personalized roadmap we're going to run. We're going to run multiple tracks. It's live interactive. You can jump on any track that you want. So there'll be one track for AWS, another track for DevOps, another track for, so one track for AWS, another track for Terraform, or DevOps, Azure, and so on. I think this is a wrong screenshot. Maybe I think old one. Yeah. So think of it as a January that's coming here. So we'll do the same track that you so AWS Azure, which multiple things which I mentioned here, all these AWS Azure AI/ML data every week will be running. You can hop on any of your choice, and every week will be sessions for that. So we'll be giving you a personalized base. On a weekly basis, there'll be mock interviews, there'll be job prep, resume sessions, all those things will be happening as well for you. So as I said, we only have a few slots that'll be available. If you're interested, go to this URL, k20academy.com/AI cloud call, one word, k20academy.com/AI cloud call. And when you go to this URL, you'll be entering a form. There's nothing, there's no obligation. We're just saying that whether we are right fit for the program or not. And if not, we'll suggest you something else, or we say that, okay, here's the free stuff, go and look at the free stuff. Or we will give you some things pointing you. So please don't be feel offended if we don't accept you, because we want to be doing the right thing for you, what is right for you. So enter your name, email address, phone number with the correct country code. And this is very important, please. LinkedIn profile is important. Don't will outrightly reject it if you don't see the LinkedIn profile, because I need to know to see if I can help you. And if yes, if not, we'll tell you the reason. Also, what kind of a positions you're trying? Is it project manager? Is it DevOps? Is it AI ops? This is, and write down as much as you can to help me to understand if I can help you or not. Also, what do you think? Because there are mental blocks, unblocks we need to do. It's less after teaching a technical stuff is simple for me. Teaching a particular skill is simple for me. What has been hard was mindset. Guys, trust me, to believe. I believe in and someone, anyone who I accept, I believe, and that's why we accept them. But the challenge was they not accepting themselves that they are good enough, and that's what. So whatever is stopping you, write down that as well. Also, tell me what your current salary is, and then also what is your expected salary, how much you're trying to earn, and write big bold. Don't be shy on writing expecting, because that's what you should be doing. I always have high desire, high. I make something called as I have a coach whom I pay big money. So, and then also write down if a guarantee a job, it's not free. I'll be transparent with you. So there'll be investment required, but how much you're ready to invest on that for that kind of a program, which will help you to earn extra 50. I'm saying minimum, but more, much more. And then also peace of mind, trust, and so on. So any questions, let me know. URL is k2academy.com/AI cloud. Let me take a few questions on here. And let me know so far. I'm going to pick a few questions. So guys, if you have questions, keep those coming. Be doing that as well. Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you. Okay, so let's move on. If you anyone have any questions, let me know. If not, we'll move on to the from here now. Um, point. Again, as I said, is I only have limited on this, and we are only going to do from a till 21st or limited like from 12 for next 9 or 10 days. 21st we'll be announcing, and after that we'll be closing. Will not be available. No, this is not free. Ash, it's not. Filling application is free, but don't fill it if it's expecting free. It's not, program is not free. Don't fill it. That's what I want you to do. Put it in what you think is worth. Uh, I've not decided yet. Okay. What is difference? Is it different from AWS AI/ML Gen AI program? Yes, it is. So Francis, in our AWS AI/ML Gen AI, if you're part of, it's a subset of. I'm going to go much bigger on this one. So if you are on AWS AI/ML, and if you want to explore that, whether you want to upgrade yourself to this one, it's a much bigger one where I'm paying. So you still have covered and that as part of AWS AML, you'll get a value, you'll get a result, whatever you promise. But this is for me, I'm picking my five uh, five who want to take from A to next level so I can build my success story, because I'm expecting some, I'm going to go grand in 2025. It's my big goal. My coach have set me. So I want to tell the story on how someone have taken from being on from big on high changes, the massive change. That's what I'm doing. Um, so duration, as I said, Srinivas, it's for entire 1 year. But again, duration I've already given. So if you go back to, this is what we're going to do. First 1 week is going to be about in January. First 1 week is going to be all about the feedback, a result. Oh, sorry, the what kind of a where you want to go. So the triage call. After that, it's going to be anything from a. It's that's why I want you to know. Tell me what your results are, how quickly you want, how long you want to. It's based on each individual different. Every person is different. Some people want job in 1 month. Some people want in 6 months. Some people are okay. So you tell me what your desires are. Based on that, you'll be going. Otherwise, it's not one size fit all program. Yeah. I hope that makes sense. So put in the chat window and thank you. So the URL is k2academy.com/AI cloud call. And yeah. Okay, so fill that and let me know if you have any questions. Like you do in the meantime, let me proceed and any questions you have. So Ashraf, cost going to be, it's not going to be cheap, guys. So don't fail if you are not ready to invest on this. I might suggest something else. So maybe you want to fill to say it may not be right for you. I'll suggest something for you. My team will suggest something. We need to look at the answers and we might suggest something if that may not be. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so with that, let's proceed on. As I said, then let me continue and we'll wrap it up in probably 10-15 minutes. I want to cover a few other blockers that's stopping you on this. Just checking my team. Okay, so I have a gap in my career. Anyone with a gap here? Put the chat window, anyone in the gap. And if you have any questions, I'm going to happy to unmute and ask the question. So far, is it good? And if you still have to rate between 1 to 5, was it value worth your time? Put the chat window 5 or below 5. Let me know the reason as well if it's below 5. 1 to 5, and we'll go with if you have a career gap. 5. Thank you, Ashraf. Thank you, Jafar. Thank you, Anurag. 6. Thank you very much. Means a lot. 6. Okay, great. 5 for coffee. Let me know. As I said, tell me why what you've deducted 1 point. So maybe I'll do next time. I'm going to do aim 9. Thank you. Oh, these are okay. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, we are going to get a Francis. We are going to get a keep an eye. Tomorrow morning, my team will share that. I think we are live on YouTube as well, if I'm not wrong. So maybe you go and check out. Um, uh, uh, so Syed, are we live on YouTube as well or no? I forgot to ask.
Sir, no, we're not live it on YouTube currently.
Oh, we are not live on YouTube. So
Yes,
maybe
there's some.
you guys keep an eye on your email. I'm hoping you've registered, so you'll get an email tomorrow. So we'll upload it on YouTube, or we'll see whether it's we put it in community, maybe community. Yes, yeah. So check on your email. Okay, keep an eye on email. Okay, so let's continue from here. Any one of you who's having me three, which is a gap, let me know. If not, we'll skip this part. Should we do it for someone for recording and someone who might be watching from recording? Um, now I forgot. Is it? Are you giving me 5-star rating or is it number 5? Okay, exactly. I forgot. Uh, I break a broken. If it's a challenge, right up me 7. I'm not. I don't know if it's like you're giving me a 7 rating or a 7 question. Me 7. Anyway, I'm good to go. So let me continue now. So if you're someone like gap in the career, and I was speaking to a girl from Canada, if I'm not wrong, yesterday, and she was confused. She had around 10 years of gap. And if you are someone like with a gap, couple of things I'll tell you. First of all, be open and transparent that yes, I have a gap. I had a gap, and I'm assuming it's very, you had a valid reason. And be transparent and say I wanted to have a family. Kids have grown up. Now I'm on my thing on my on back to now track on doing. Second thing, what you should be doing is employers don't want someone to take and teach them in current world. You should be learning that. So you learn and then build a story of last maybe 6 months or 1 year saying that you've done this proof of concept. You've worked. If you show to an employer saying that, okay, hey, you have done yourself these things as a part of proof of concept, built it, learned, and have implemented, ask me any question related to that topic. So, and you can do it with cloud now. There's nothing, it's not a rocket science. You can go and build those systems yourself, migration, all those things, do the hands-on lab and project, and then go to the employer and say, hey, I have a gap. I might be okay to work on less money. Of course, you shouldn't be, but then be open to at least for first 3-4 months. And once you've proven yourself, then you can renegotiate the salary. And that's what everyone who come in, we have tons and tons of ladies in the program who have had a gap. And Meghna is one, and she's from UK again. And she came and she was nervous. And of course, that happens after, especially she was doing some testing or something, non-IT earlier. And then I've told her exactly the same thing. In fact, government gives grants to the companies who rehire the someone with who's out of job or for being with a gap. So there are a lot of schemes that are available, but employers pick someone who they don't have to retrain or train them from scratch. So Meghna, such example, career gap from she was confused or had a long gap, I think 6 or 7 years, to working with British Telecom. Now she's done one of the most difficult certification in my view, Kubernetes CK, Certified Kubernetes Administrator. She's now handling on latest and she's doing pretty good now. Also, Raz Lakshmi, I think I forgot to put her story. You US have tons and tons of ladies like that as well. Um, okay. So next one is about. Oh, I'm not from IT background. I don't have a coding. So of tons and tons of guys not from IT background. In fact, Tolu, I think it's from Canada, Ontario. So Tolu is one of my star. You might have seen. These are, and that's the kind of things I want to build in 2025. I'm handpicking a couple of guys so I can say my story, my star. Um, so I want to be your mentor. You're my part of my hero of my story. Say this is how I've done the way I can showcase them here. So I just wanted to let you know that I've got two offers based on my AWS certification um, on this. So Tolu, I was not hesitant to join to moving to cloud desired. Didn't even have any IT background. Okay. Now another one like that, Irina, she is from non-coding background, no IT, non-coding background, and she's working there are tons and tons of roles like that. Customer success manager. She's working with Oracle Romania, I think, and someone was from Romania earlier here. So and so on. Maybe you want to relocate like me. I relocated back in 2004, 2005. A lot of guys come who relocated. There are tons and tons of jobs, trust me, especially in UK, Europe, Canada. But the only thing I can't solve is visa. So guys, again, I want to be transparent. If you're coming, I won't be able to solve the visa problem, but I'll give you some tips how you can get all. So work with a company in your local country that has operations in whatever country you want to migrate to, US, UK, or Europe, or wherever, Canada, or whatever. If you do the good job, and which you should be, the only everything I will keep around is become the best and do best. We have 44,000, 45,000, and we're growing rapidly. A lot of word of mouth is all because people trust us, because we have given result, because we are best in what we do, and that's what is has grown, and people will start recognizing, noticing in your company, and they themselves will pull you. That's what happened in 2004, 2005, 4 with me. I was working with a Indian company, and they had a project in Imperial College London. But moved to UK. They pulled me here, and when I came, realized, and one ladder after another ladder. In fact, I'm going to tell you a story, my story of how I moved into there. So if you like Kwame, want to move to, or Nikhil, it gave me the detail, gave me the confidence on rest of the cloud. Again, I have tons and tons of guys like another one is Sarkar India, CK, which is a Kubernetes program, helped me to get achieve this. And I think, oh, good, I got a good job as a Kubernetes administrator. Imagine, you, Vinay, I've cracked two companies interviews. Another one here um, from India, got senior DevOps architect job on Kubernetes. And Mudassir is one. These are all my teammates here. Another one here. I got an excellent project working with successful. This is with successfully completed 2 months and going well on project. Radhika from US. So how many of you guys are interested to listen to the story? My story, how I've done two mistakes in my life, which I not regret, wish I could have avoided. One costed me 70,000 pounds. Another didn't cost. Uh, I jumped very, very quickly, moved very, very quickly. I don't want you to make any of those mistakes. And again, it might sound but if I look at perspective, every lesson you learn, every failure you have, it teaches you a lesson. And that was a very expensive lesson in 2005 I learned. And then 2012, I second mistake I did, wish don't do that as well. Only one person won out of 49. Jessica, maybe I'll tell you one on one if that's the case. If anyone else is, otherwise we'll move on. Sorry, Sayaka. I'll see. I'll move. Okay, there's one more handful. Guys, probably if we were done for, you can leave. If you're not, just fill this form if you want to work with me on my team, k2academy.com/AI cloud call, and we'll be selecting only the 5 guys out of this, and that's only also on a selection basis only. Thank you very much. And then something, let me see, a couple of interested. Some of the guys have failed. Yep. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. If you have any questions, yes. My team, if you can tell Rohit not to pick any of that, tell them not to pick and not to call, uh, because I'm going to interview them. So, Syed, can you tell to Rohit and say not to pick any of those guys? Okay. We're going to select. I'm going to handpick them. These guys. So, Syed, if you can call in the group, Rohit, not to pick them. Okay. Thank you. We are still on the call. Let me see. Don't pick. Team has very prompt. Sorry, guys. Okay, so let's move. Okay, let me. So, okay, sorry, Ankita, interested. Yeah, okay. Let me tell you my story. What happened was, so this, as I said at the start, is till 2004, very, very tough, and I felt lucky because I think I worked very, very hard, spent a lot of time into, and I moved to UK 2004, 2005, and I saw a friend of mine. Let me move this and let me stop the sharing, and maybe I'll come back to this. And this is I'm talking about is 2004, 2005. It's basically how do I stop sharing the screen? Stop sharing. Okay. Oh, it's dark. Wow, it's dark. Okay. So saying is that in 2000, what happened was in 2005, I think it's January or 2004. I don't remember exactly. A friend of mine, he was a freelance, not friend, colleague of mine. He was already there. He came to UK 1999, and I saw he was, and he told me that he was drawing in the same Imperial College. He was doing 550 pound a day. 550 pound a day multiplied by 24, 25 days. It's more than 12,000 pounds a month. And I was earning 2,400 pounds a month. And you think, oh, it's such a big difference. 2,500 or just round it off and to 12,000. It's a lot of money. So, sir, I should learn that. And I saw and good job in Oracle Identity Access Management, Oracle Security. And that time I was working as Oracle Database Administrator, Oracle DBA. So I went into Oracle website to see how much does it cost, this program cost, and it was 3,000 pounds. And me being from India, and till the time money was very tight, I moved to UK, and I think, oh, it's more than my month's salary. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. I'll learn on my own. Typically, a lot of guys, we always start, I'll learn on my own. I said, oh, so I started learning uh, morning, evening, weekends. 1 month passed, 2 months passed, 3 months passed, 4 months passed. And I was failing one interview after another interview, another interview. I was thinking, I don't know enough. I need to learn. And I think I on that year I got married, and 2000, I think it was October-ish. My wife said, enough right now. You've spent a lot of time and it's not going anywhere. In worst case, what will happen? We'll lose a month's salary. Or so I remember still till date. It was in Reading when I was in London, and it cost. It was I have to stay there because that time I was not driving, and I had to stay in a hotel and 5 days billing. There was I had to take off from 5 days, and it costed. But it was in October, and I think November or December. I remember, I don't exactly, but I think it's mid of November, mid of December, early December. I got my first contract that I see on the screenshot. I might show it again here. My first contract of 425 pounds, and I still remember the day. I couldn't believe my eyes on that, and because it took 10 months for me to achieve there. I remember till date now the restaurant I celebrated. I could never imagine 425 pound a day was huge, huge money at the time to me. Um, and I earn a ton of money now, but the amount that date is still remember on the restaurant I went, what we celebrated, I could never believed on that. And on that, then I was very happy. But in 2006, next year, I think January, February, it hit me and say, hey, gosh, you made a big mistake. In 2005, I would have earned extra 70,000 pounds. Let me repeat one more time. In 2006 or 2005, I would have earned extra 70,000 pounds. Every year every month I was losing 7 to 8,000 pounds. And that was the aha moment. Wish I could have learned this. And this is what I tell a lot of guys come because a lot of guys are from India or and from Asia, and a lot of guys even from US and UK. Some guys have, and even I was like that, and I was still further every time I have to remind myself that story, and that happens. So every month I could have earned extra 8 to 9,000 pounds extra I could have earned if I've learned that earlier. So two things I look at now whenever it happens is that how much money I'm going to earn if I learn this quickly, or how much money I'm going to lose if I don't do this, the opportunity cost that we don't look at. And that was a game changer for me for that moment. From that moment, now I have a coach I hired 3 4 years back, I think just during COVID, when I was scaling this business on here, and say how do I provide value and how do I do making sure. And that coach initially we started with, I think he charged me 24, he started with $2,000 program that he had, and then but it was a group, I think for group, and then I hired him as a personal coach, $24,000 dollars a year. And I was thinking for a couple of days, and then realized no, how much money I'm going to make or how much money I'm going to lose by not doing. That was the game changer. Next year, he upped his rate from 24,000 to 36,000. And this year I'm paying 48,000 a year just for, and we do meet only once in a week or sometimes not even once in a month, maybe. But then that 1 hour meeting is a game changer for me. I learned ton of things. And it's mainly more, less learning now or more accountability, because what they say, when you pay attention. And I get tons of free stuff. I don't collect them. I don't use them. But when you pay attention. That was a big aha moment. 2012 came. There's a second game changer. Let me go and share my screen again. That was the first learning was, and I spend a lot of money now on my own learning now. But the second game was, this was one, and I became arrogant on this point. So this is my, I think this is my first 425 pounds that you see. That was in I was living in Harrow. That's something, and then I think there was another second slip somewhere hidden in these screenshots. And I was earning good. And every month, every couple of years, every 1 year or 6 months, I was doing 450, 500, 600. And it came to this point, I think 2011 or 12, the security projects started drying up. The Oracle database administrator started drying up. It was coming, was not growing or scaling. And when I went into the market, I was thinking I'm at the top of the world. I know nothing, no one can beat me or something. And I didn't learn anything between 2000, I think 8 till 2011, 12. I didn't learn nothing. And I was earning, just focusing on that. And the second aha moment came in 2011, 12. And luckily, I picked up very, very quickly. But for a month, I was so nervous because I couldn't find anything. And then that's when I I saw a contract. And let me go back. And this is a time on, I was still working with Oracle, and Oracle had some projects. Sorry, let me, yeah. So I was still working with Oracle on Oracle technologies, and Oracle was coming up with the project, and Oracle was very infancy stage, and they were thinking that to have some projects in UK. I flew from, but I looked at the training on and Oracle Cloud. Nothing was there in UK. So I flew from here to headquarters in HQ. Took, I think, 5 or 10 days off on my contracting. I was drawing 600, 700 pounds a day that time. So I spent 7,000 pounds. But I realized I'm not going to make the mistake of what I did earlier. I learned very, very quickly. Fast forward, I think within a couple of days itself, the Oracle backend team, they referred me here to do a project. I started moving my journey into cloud, and that jumped me very, very quickly. And every year now, unimaginable money. So I spend on learning. So two key takeaways is that uh, keep learning new things, keep upgrading yourself. Now I don't make mistake of, I stay on grounded. I kept learning. I keep upskilling myself. So two key takeaways: look at the opportunity cost. I'm not here to sell any stuff, and most of you guys are not even part of my going to be for that particular program I'm talking about. But whatever you do, learn quickly, move quickly, because that money you invest, the biggest investment I learned my coach is in your own mindset, in your own learning. So do that. So let me share my screen one more time, and then final time, and then show it to you what all things I kept learning and kept doing. I don't know how do I share this. Yeah. So I learned cloud, and then multi-cloud and data on cloud, and AI, machine learning, and it grew and grew and grew. Unimaginable money now. I never ever thought I could earn that much money. Never ever in my life. I feel very lucky to have. I decide now when to work, what to work. And don't get me wrong, I work hard, but I work hard on my terms and conditions. Sometimes I work 12 hours. Sometimes I don't work for 2 days, 3 days. And then I have a good relationship with my clients. I tell them I'm going to work on this week only 2 days, because they know also whenever I'm going to work, I'm going to give them double, triple of work, and only charge what I work for. So that's a freedom of, let's say, what work. Two lessons I've learned is that how much more I'll be learning, earn after learning this, or how much money I'm going to lose if I don't do this. And so every time so second year, and this year he upgraded my coach extended to 48,000. I thought, is it expensive? Then I realized no, and I've already earned in this year. And that's why this mastermind, that coach, he's only suggested me to do this. I'm going to go big now this year, 2025. I tell the same story is about James. Job entry program. Don't compromise. You cannot go wrong with Keaton Academy. Super grateful for I found them. I can go on and then sometimes, hey, I don't have time. We all have same time. Trust me, for important things, we have to find time. The program is structured. Things are structured in a manner. It works for your timing. Everyone's busy. I'm super busy. I have two kids and grown up kids now. Or when I say grown up, I have to be on their studies. One is preparing for uni. My daughter is preparing for uni, and my son is preparing on for secondary school, or is already in secondary school. But a lot of time goes on. So we get same time. I can do on my own. Trust me, I still date. I have a lot of habit of I can do on my own. But then now I hire a lot of guys. Trust me, Udemy. Yes, you can learn, and if you can learn, if it's working, good. But accountability, someone to be on making you accountable. As I said, if you pay, you pay attention. And that's why my programs, I'm going to extend, we're increasing all our program prices. And again, don't think me, I'm doing it out of greed or anything. People pay them. And trust me, the guys who are the highest paid, the charge I charge, they're the most successful guys. Not because they're different, because they pay more attention. And that's why I say, don't come into the programs or anything if you're not ready to do the work, because you will get result if you do the work. That's the main point about. So Udemy courses, 30% of the content people don't even don't start. They average, they complete just the 30%, and 70% never even start. So yes, you can do. So as I said, is I'm going to go fast now and saying a couple of more. Atul says, I've ton of courses in Udemy but never started. And after joining this discussion group, these are my WhatsApp groups. I'm so very convinced that I'm the right path. Ian, I had a journey, I had a lot of hesitation, doubts. IT was new for me, class amazed me, easy to understand, and in no ways can understand. Getting to like of IT. More, these are Crush Pilot. Salim, best experience, the best thus far, very well for beginners. Oksana, they are the great program. Deliveries are definitely get a job, excellent communication, professional. Another here. Experienced instructors, good support. I have tons and tons of, again, I'm saying I'm not the only person. And I can never be enough. Okay, so we have experts in each of domain. We have expert for LinkedIn. We have expert for resume. We have expert for each interview preparation. Multiple. We have 72 guys team, and then on top of that, we have 200 plus freelancers, contractors, who are experts whom we can engage to help you. So John, I was skeptical about paying for the program. Someone like me who decided to change career at 40, entirely different domain, scary. But if I pay X amount, I've get the confidence, I'm bigger ROI. So just believe in yourself and go for it. Again, there are layoffs in 2023 happened. It's happening same. It's going to be bigger. And as I said, it's not the AI that will replace you. It's someone with the AI knowledge. In fact, AI guy is someone who goes AI, knows AI. Within IT, they get paid 47% higher. So if someone is earning 100, you get 147 straight away if you know AI. Again. So we're going to wrap it up now with, are you on the left side or right side? Do you want to be replaced? In just 10 years, cameramen and pilots, drones came in 2008, 19, 18, 19. They've replaced both cameramen and pilots. Pilot for those who are doing photography. So apply for the strategy call. We are going to have pickup, hand pick. We'll be doing it for 8-9 days. We'll wrap it up after that as well. So this is a mentorship and coaching program, accelerator program that helps IT professionals. It's not free, so don't submit it if you're not ready to invest. But how much you invest, depending on, will tell you if it's not the right fit, will tell you this is not right fit program, will suggest something for you. So this is pretty much, I'm not going to repeat this, just copy in, and if you know, just copy and paste and implement it yourself. You can take it away and you can implement this on with you. So let me know if you have any further questions. We're going to wrap it up with this now. And this is the URL, ketonacademy.com/AI cloud call. Let me put and see 1 or 2 questions. We'll wrap it up. If you have any questions and want to unmute themselves, please. But otherwise, I think we're on top. We already extended it. Wow, 2 hours. I was hoping 1 hour, but 1.5 hours. I got carried away. I was very excited about this, especially this. Where is my URL came? I don't know. Uh, Leave it. Yeah, yeah, this is the one URL. Okay. So if not, um, can you get contract job outside? I can't. I don't know outside. If there is jobs outside, then yes. In UK, I'm talking about. So if there are jobs, yes, why not? If there are jobs, so I can't create the jobs, but if there are jobs, definitely yes, absolutely, you can. I've done most of my contracts are outside IR 35. This is for someone who's in UK, guys. Okay, guys, final call. You're still up 30 plus 35 of you guys are here. Just put in the chat window 5125. Uh, are you still? Did you good learn something new? Something that you were not aware of earlier? And promise me one thing, whether you join with us or not, but please promise me that you will learn. Don't come in the program just to sit here or listen. Go and implement, create a free account. There's a lot of stuff. Oh, just in fact, I wanted to show it to you. I forgot to show. If you go to the portal, there's a lot of free stuff available. So if you go onto the portal, ketonacademy.com/AI community, I'll just show it to you. Go and start playing with that community. Go and ketonacademy.com/AI community and go to the classroom. We'll accept it. Just give us a few minutes, those who are, and then go to maybe begin with. I did another class on September. No, sorry. I think last month. No, November, December. I forgot. Go this. Check out on others success stories of the guys. Some of the guys I've seen, I've tons. I've not put in all. So go and look at the success stories of the. These are screenshots, but these are videos, video testimonials. So you can check out of tons. I'm going to ask my team to submit all of them, thousands of those. So these are the resume. Sorry, the certifications. So you have three. One is they've shared us with the screenshots. Some have come with the videos, and some have shared the certification. So you go there, check it out. That's one. If you go into the classroom, after that, there's a career guidance of tons and tons of information here. A lot of guys ask a lot of questions, so I just record them. You will learn a lot of those things from here on. So how to find jobs in UK or US or Canada or some things. And if you have any questions, I can record a video. Just let me know. Okay, just to say thank you and just keep learning and keep helping others. This is a community. Make sure that you don't just sit there. We are going to take off those who are not interacting. We'll remove them from the group. This is a community where everyone needs to help each other. It's not going to be me. This is a free community. In paid community, come in, you'll get all the hand holding and support. But this community, you have to build and run yourself. So uh, also, this is where you will see some AI concepts. Someone was asking about how do I learn beginners. So this is about job roles. This is where you go and look at the concepts, but then terminologies. What is Gen AI? What is foundation model? What is LLMs? Uh, what is RAG, AI interfaces, vector databases? Look at those. What are the? How do you compare the services? What are the frameworks, libraries, and so on? Prompt engineering. I'll be adding more and more content here. So check out, and then some free account. How do you create a free account? Play with this. Go and create an account in AWS, Azure, Google. Certification. Some of the certification will be adding. The one which I was talking about FAQ. This is where you can do FAQ and so on. So with that, thank you very, very much. And I hope you enjoyed. Um, so the recording will be, keep an eye on email. I want to learn with you people, but I'm 50. What do you think? I say, as like, I'm 46. And for me, I still feel young. Okay. There are a lot of guys 50. In fact, there are, I think someone was 61 or 62, someone on 61 or 62. So age is just a number in your mind. So in fact, I was speaking to a lady yesterday. She was 47 and she had a 10 years gap and she's coming back onto this now. She's coming, yeah. Which video? I'm not sure, Ashraf. I will be getting a video. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And thanks, Sahid, Neha. The tons and tons of effort has gone in. Um, so when we are going to get iOS, it's already there, Kamlesh. If you go to iOS, if you go to Ask My Team, we already have a iOS app now. Okay, so just ask if you're part of program, just ask the support, they will help you. Okay, brilliant. Thank you very, very much, guys. And sorry, I didn't realize that you don't know we have iOS up now. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye, guys. And yeah, let me stop my screen and say share. How do you stop? No, oh, it's not sharing the screen. That's a shame. No, I was sharing the screen. Sorry, I was sharing the screen. Okay, thank you guys, and keep an eye on your email. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Take care or check an email. Thank you. Bye bye. Said, how can we stop it?